has pure electric coolness. Hello and a very warm welcome to a personal edition of Fresh Faces, because today I'll tell you about a very personal piece from my own collection. It is the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Milgauss with a green tinted glass and a cool matte black dial. It is priced at 7,900 euros and has a 14mm steel case that measures just over 57mm lug to lug, and it's 100 meters water resistant. It is also equipped with the Oyster bracelet with an easylink 5mm extension. And in a way it is a bit of a hidden gem in the Rolex collection. The watch was first introduced in 1954 with reference number 6543, and it really is unusual at many levels. First of all, because it wasn't made for explorers but for scientists. And more precisely, scientists at the particle physics laboratory in Geneva. Rolex wanted to make a watch able to withstand magnetical fields to 1000 Gauss, hence the name. A Gauss is a unit to measure a magnetic field, and mille simply means 1000 in French. The protection against magnetism is done with the principle of a Faraday cage, which is a soft iron container around the movement. This approach really is the epitome of Rolex making professional watches, and a 1955 Rolex reference 6543 set an all-time record when it was sold at Christie's auction in 2017 for $272,500. The first Milgauss with the lightning bolt second hand and smooth bezel was introduced around 1956. It was finally discontinued in 1988, but in 2007 it made a very surprising comeback in the Rolex catalog. At first everyone thought that the green glass would be temporary, but it's still there, and it has been sitting unchanged in the collection for years, with nobody seemingly thinking this is kind of strange. And partly because of that, this has always been a bit of the quirky Rolex to me. With its lightning bolt orange hand, its green tinted glass combined with the clean lines of that oily smooth bezel, this Milgauss really is unlike any watch I've ever seen. It's not the safe choice, and that might actually be the reason why you don't see this watch anywhere. Having fallen in love with the watch about a decade ago, I never dared to actually buy it. Scared that those expressive details might bore me after a little while, but when I pulled the trigger on it this fall, I instantly knew I was doing the right thing. From the moment I walked into the Rolex boutique in Amsterdam to the moment I left the building with it, I was walking on air. Buying a Rolex is one thing, but buying the Rolex you've been dreaming of for over a decade is quite another. But obviously I only did it for you, my viewer, so I can give you a first-hand experience on what it's like to own a Rolex Milgauss. First of all, this is not the watch you wear every day. I think it is a very cool and edgy addition to a collection. It is a perfect watch for any informal occasion, like having a dinner at a great restaurant, traveling, or going to a museum. The watch is large, but on my 17cm wrist it wears actually quite comfortable. Yet I don't think it is suitable for very formal occasions, as it does stand out thanks to its design and thickness. Like the Submariner or the Daytona, it is just quite a big watch. Its thickness measures just over 18mm, and this was also one of the reasons why I hesitated for quite some time before buying it. But until now it hasn't bothered me for a single second. Now, one thing that I absolutely came to love about this watch is the contrasts. For example, the contrast between the matte black dial and that very smooth bezel. This gives the design a certain edge, a coolness that is further enhanced by that quirky flashy orange second hand. One important yet small detail I need to point out as well is the very impressive finishing of this Rolex. For example, the center of the second hand is actually shiny steel, making it stand out even better. And then there's the green glass. It is made using a secret process. It is fade proof and available exclusively on the Milgauss. This gives a slight green haze over the dial at all times that seems to be distracting in the beginning, but really isn't bothering me at all once I got used to it. As for me, I am madly in love with the green hue. But if this is too much for you, then look very carefully, because there used to be a version with a very clear sapphire glass, but that was discontinued in 2013. And by the way, it is also available with a shiny blue dial, but that really was a little bit too much for me. And talking about the dial, Rolex really went all out there. It has indices that are luminescent in both blue and orange, really offering a spectacle in the dark. The outer ring of the dial features subtle orange detailing, and I really love how that golden crown shines on the matte black dial. I also appreciate the cool contrast between the polished and brushed parts of the bracelet, especially because of the rest of the case is as polished and shiny as Daniel Ricciardo's smile. On the technical side, things are exactly as solid as you might expect from a Rolex. There's just no brand that offers this combination of reliability, accuracy and solidness. The watch is powered by the caliber 3131, which is of course chronometer certified and regulated to an accuracy of -2 + 2 seconds a day after casing. It also has a paramagnetic blue parachrome hairspring, making the Faraday cage a bit useless. But who cares? This is Rolex. Overachievement is delivered as a standard. And by the way, if you want to learn more about Rolex, their philosophy, but also the technical side of it, please do take a good look at my uploads, because there is a ton of material there, especially on Rolex. So please do like, subscribe, and let's continue to the Milgauss. On the wrist, the watch wears big. There is no doubt in anyone's mind in the room you're in that this is a very serious watch. And that's one thing you should always bear in mind before buying a Rolex. Some people will hate you passionately for it. Adding to the wrist presence and thickness is a serious weight. But as the diameter of 40mm is just excellent and the length of the lugs is perfect, it actually does wear very comfortable. But there is one question that's far more important. A question even more important than what is a particle physics laboratory? Is this watch cock or is it cool? Yeah, that's pure electric coolness. And indeed, wearing this watch is an experience unlike any else. Having worn and felt lots of Rolexes in my life, nothing really comes close to the experience of this Milgauss. It really is electrifying, and it really offers so much visual and technical stopping power. I never thought about having made the wrong choice. But what makes this watch such a spectacle to look at is the perfect balance of contrasts. It's daring, it's cool, it's unique, and it's mine. Period. So, curious to know more about my adventures with my Milgauss? Then please do like, subscribe, stay tuned, and see you next time.